All right, so I'm gonna grab some of the popular mascots here, and we'll go ahead and put them inside of the curly bracket. So it's gonna multi-prompt here. Let's see what it gives us. Typically, I do not multi-prompt first. I will prompt a few just to get it going, make sure that I'm getting what I want to get out of it. Sometimes you multi-prompt, you'll end up with a bunch of stuff that you don't want. So I should have warmed that channel up a little bit with images that I wanted first, but we shall see. This prompt is very straightforward, so it should give me some clean artwork. Okay. All right. So I'm just checking you out, checking you out. Let me put in the word fast here since most of us are using the fast prompt. And we have 666 results. So I said we have 1,000 images. Then I would get into some Photoshop nitty gritty. We need some more. Need a little more here. And I mean 1,000 images here because I know that technically, if we have 6,000 there, we have about 2,400 images in this server right now. But I think we can work it. I want 1,000 base images here. So we got a little bit more to do. Ooh, I'm liking the flames. That thing came out hot, literally. All right. I see y'all. Love it, love it, love it. The futuristic, the barn. I see you stuck on that barn there. I guess that's gonna be a country boy's dream coming from the country, going to the NBA. That actually would be a pretty good story. Uh, I know, I saw it. All right. Loving these. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. The texture, the cityscape. Y'all are doing an excellent job. This looks good, Marvy. Loving the graffiti, the colors, the grunge. All right. Look, I am excited about what y'all are going to be able to build from this. And then also, I want you to think of some creative ways that you may see other things. And like I said, you just don't know how they would have gotten that type of image, and you don't know how to Photoshop that type of image. Like I could show you in Photoshop how to get some flames and how to make it look like a basketball goal is on fire and that it's lightning and everything else. But the idea here is that we can focus on building our designs faster if we know what we can pull out of AI and put together as a compilation inside of Photoshop. So that's what we're going to be focusing on Wednesday. So you all are good. Seeing our mascots developing, looking real good. Is that the wild? Yeah, that wildcat's looking good there. Yes, I think we did end up getting some good wildcats for you, Yolanda. Y'all keep working on those. And how are y'all liking the different styles so far? What's your favorite style? We did chibi. We did our hyper realistic. We did our photo of or photorealistic. And then the comic book style. I think a lot of you did some really great images with the comic book style today. All right. So here we're cooking up some mascot logos here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this same one. Like I said, I'm gonna do a multi-prompt for you all just to get all of these going. Maybe to give y'all some extra time to build up. Let me do the next set. And you see how when you wanna get those hornets, sometimes I have to tell it to do a little wasp, but I don't know why it does like a superhero version of the wasp and not just like an actual animal type of version of the wasp. But it does get a little crazy. How y'all doing over here on the alphabet? And some cool letters going on here. Okay, now this one's a little different. Um, some of these I'm not liking, but I think we could do better with building on what kind of materials and textures we want to see in the letters, but still good. All right. So, like I said, we got some of these cooking up. There's a few more, and then I'll add to that later as well. I want to get on with our Photoshop version for tonight. So, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a mascot where maybe we like the head of one mascot and the body of another mascot, or maybe it has a weird number on the shirt we need to take off. Basically, I'm looking for issues that you're going to be encountering when you are designing in um, when you're designing your AI characters. Oh, those ducks look super cute. All right, so one of our number one mascots, eagle, tiger, panther. I'm gonna go with panther. I'm always doing tiger. Let me go with the panther. Let's see what we have here for panther. Mm, I want something that looks like it's, and that one happens to have a football. Nah, I need it to be basketball. The GB characters came out really cute too. Ooh, I think I'm liking number 2. Number 1 looks cool too because it really does look like he's kind of in motion, looking away. I like that. So 1 and 2 here, I may go for that. I'm gonna jump to that one, and I'm gonna upscale number 1, upscale number 2. Let's see what else we have here. Ooh. So I'm also liking this one here, 3, because 3 makes me feel like it looks like it's just jumping out. So I'm gonna jump to this one and upscale number 3. Let's say this one. Let's say that you liked this one, but something weird is going on here with the hands. Let's see what we can do about that. All right, and I'm going for more of the realistic style, but I really like some of the comic book styles too. When I do the template flip, I'll probably change the styles up and give you all some idea of what it looks like with the illustrated look versus the photorealistic. And this one, I like the head on this one. I feel like it could have furrier arms, and I don't know why he's wearing these winter gloves and doesn't have his claws. Let me see if I can do anything about that. So I'm going to tell it to vary the region within the mid journey And I'm gonna grab this lasso here and tell it, let me see if I could tell it that I want furry arms too. That, and here. Let's go fur and claws. And I'm just gonna let it cook, see what it does. I don't know what it's gonna do. But I do really like the head on this one. So if I like the head on this one and I like the body on another one, I can also do a little Photoshop magic. All right, so let me scroll all the way to the bottom here, jump to present. Ooh, this one looks really good. I like that one. Um, so this one here, I feel like I would want the ball to be more in his hands. I like the texture it gave me on the jersey and stuff. That's cool. So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna open it in the browser and then download the high resolution version of it. Gave me furry arms, all right. Stop it, Midjourney. Stop it. Mm-mm. All right, so let me go back to this one. I'm gonna go jump back to it. And then I'm going to just tell it to very strong, submit the same thing, very subtle, submit the same thing, see what it gives me, if it gives me any variations that are worth it. If not, then what I will do is um I might decide to use it for the face on this one. Okay. Let me open that one in browser. That one has a kind of cool face, but I would probably clean up that eye there. I don't know. I guess the light is hitting it there. And it has human arms here, so I would have to incorporate some fuzziness there. Let me jump to present, see what's going on. Are my variations ready? They just giving them the oil slick skin. But it did, see how it changed up the face a little bit for me? It did change up the gloves a little bit too, but I'm just not happy with those. I don't, some of these came out pretty cool, but I'm still getting those gloves and not my claws and stuff. So if I see something with claws, okay, Black Panther playing basketball. Love it. All right, so let's see, what I have is something with claws, and then I also have him with gloves. So I think that's going to be a challenge. I'm looking forward to that. And let me go back. I'm going to find some. Oh, yeah, this one I liked, and this one I liked. So jump to this one. There we go. And this one. So this one's a little bit more illustrated, but I think we'll still be able to work with that. Oh, and what I will do is also, I'm going to prompt this one. That one looks a little robot-y, but I like the uniform on this one. So just kind of grabbing what I want. So I'm going to take this prompt here and I'm going to prompt this in Chat GPT. And then I'm also going to prompt it in the Bing image creator. I don't know if it's going to read my aspect ratio. I doubt it like that, but it could possibly, if you tell it to be portrait scale, I'm sure it could listen to that, but I don't want to give it any unintentional information. Alright, so I'm just gonna hit enter on this, see what it gives me. Meanwhile, take the same thing over to Bing. Because we did the illustrated and I also wanna do a more photorealistic version and let that roll. I told you as soon as you click off this thing, it stopped working. So you gotta watch it. Alright, I really like that. But I feel like he should have the ball in his hand. I'm gonna see if I can do a little bit better than that. And I'm just gonna put doing a crossover, looking at the camera. So I wanna be facing forward. I think this one came out really like I'm loving the textures on here. It's more literal when it comes to some of the details that it's looking for. And like I said, you could also tell it what type of shoes. Like if you wanted to be wearing certain Jordans or whatever, you can tell it exactly those shoes to be wearing. Why does he have two balls? Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can tell it to have him wearing certain shoes, so the Jordan 12s, and having only one ball. So I'm basically just giving it a little feedback here. And oh, did I put it? Oh, I must have put in the same exact. It gave me some pretty cool illustrations here, but I meant to do my photorealistic version. And then since last time we figured out Jordan 12s were a thing. Okay, boom, there it is. And I'm liking that how he's handling the ball. It looks realistic. The ball itself looks realistic. Even the background looks good. So this to me is really giving high details that I would truly want to see. Now his face is a little smooth. I feel like I would want to see like a furrier version of his face, but this is cool. I could go with that. Okay, so now I'm going to start downloading the images that I may need to fix or do something with. And another thing that I do like about the Dolly 3 version is that it can incorporate text. So it is trying to spell the word Panthers here. It's a little messed up there. But I do feel like you're able to at least make that out and you can clean that up in Photoshop. All right, so far, I'm really liking this one. I'm liking what it did for the hands there. And let me see what Bean came up with. Not bad. This one is probably feel like he's gonna twist his ankle a little bit, but I still like the motion there. And you could also tell it details, like we said, muscular and that sort of thing. I'm gonna roll with this one. I like that one. This one has got his legs kind of twisted up. If I was just going for upper body, even then, I don't think I like that one. This one I don't like. This one I like more as a pose, not necessarily as like the mascot is looking at you. And then I would replace this basketball here because it is distorted. All right, so I have some things to work with. I can go ahead and get this thing going. Another thing you can do with your mascots is you can turn them into like cyborgs or futuristic, because I know we were doing that. So here, I'm going to make a room for like futuristic cyborg mascots. And then I'll put some stuff in there for you all later to develop and use as an example. Let me see how many images we have here, because I haven't done my Photoshop yet, because I want us to make sure we had 1,000. We're at 751. 751. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and we're gonna see how much Photoshopping I'm gonna do. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the images. So I'm opening up Photoshop now. Give it a little time. Meanwhile, I'm gonna save the images that we developed so far. All right. And this is the design that you all said you wanted me to make into a template. It's not a template yet. This is a design I did about 2019. I was gonna say a very long time ago. I think 2018. Wait a minute. It was that probably was like 2017. I don't know. It was some time ago. So I'll turn this into a template, make it a little easier for you all to use it. The theme will be one team, one dream, and then you'll be able to change out the images here based on the basketball players that you bring in. But this is what I wanted us to be thinking about when we're developing these pieces. So we have the players, we have the mascot. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the mascot into this as well. And then the background images that we created. So for tonight, though, I'm not really assembling the design. What I'm doing is I'm showing you all what you're going to have to do in Photoshop with some of this AI artwork. All right, so we have something to look forward to. That's what we're going to be doing for Wednesday. All right, so let me just go into our folder, see what we have so far. And all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an artboard right now. Just a basic 13 by 19, 300 DPI. And then I'm going to bring all of these images over here so I can see what I want to use for what. This is not planned out because literally we developed these designs together. So you will get to see me work in real time and troubleshoot in real time what I would do in order to use these images for a project. Now, for this one, I'm going to see basically which one I like the face better for. And I might even just go ahead and create a folder. This one, I feel like the styling is going to be off, so I'm not going to use that one. This one, I like the styling and the pose, but I don't think his face is fuzzy enough. So for this one, I'm going to group that one, and I'm going to put maybe body there. This one, the pose was cool, but it's just not as dynamic as I want it to be. I feel like it's cool, but I don't know if that's what I want. Same thing for this one, cool pose, but I don't think that's what I want. I want my mascot. This one looks like it would be a good mascot for the face. I'm not happy with the arms not being fuzzy. So this one might be for my face. This one I liked for the face too. So these two might be the face, and then this one might be the body. Let's see what we come up with. I don't think I'm using those two for right now. This one, now that I'm looking at the other one, this one kind of looks more like a bear, so I'm gonna not use that one. All right, so let's see here. What am I gonna do to grab this face? Real quick, you could do the you can do object selection tool. You can also do the quick selection tool depending on how much contrast you have in your image. So I'm going to do quick selection and go up here to the drop down, do the cloud. And then I'm also going to make sure that right now I have my add to selection on. And I'm just going to kind of grab his face a little bit here and see if it recognizes the foreground from the background. And if not, then what I will have to do is use my pen tool to get it. And this is where it does come in handy to tell it that you want to do something isolated on a white background, because it would be much easier to cut this image out. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the object selection tool so I can grab my subject and see if it gives me those whiskers, because I want the whiskers. And it gave me a couple of them. Okay, so then what I'll do is I will do select a mask. I want to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to tell it I want to smooth this path out a little bit more. And what I would do for this is to probably use my pen tool to get the rest of the head there, because this dark area down here, the shadow, is almost to where I can't tell the difference between the fabric and the skin there. So I increased the smoothing here, and I don't know if you can tell, but it doesn't have such jagged cut edges here. I'm just going to say okay there. Add a mask here. Then I'll do the same thing with this one. Tell it that I want to do the cloud, select the subject, see how much of my whiskers I get. Okay. Select and match just so I can see how much it's going to cut off. Now it's a little jagged because it is fur, but I'm still going to smooth it out a little bit. You can also choose refine hair. And if it has like some fuzzies and flyaways and that sort of thing, it can try to get a little cleaner. Let me reduce my smooth and then hit refine hair. And it's just not getting some of these details here, so I can add to the selection so it knows that I want those pieces there. And see how it's grabbing some of that fur around his ears now. All right, so I'm just adding to the selection here. Making sure that it knows that I want to keep these parts here. All right. Increase the size here a little. Because as I'm adding this, it's trying to think at the same time, and it doesn't know if it's certain that I want to keep some of these details. I do, but I feel like it's making me work too hard right now. Where it's turning red, those are pixels that it will not add to my layer mask. So it's going to cut those off. Okay, so now it's getting a little messy outside of the ears here. So there I would go in with my minus and tell it I want to clean that up a little bit. And this one I'm not using for the body, so if I was concerned about this, I would actually also grab some of the hand here that's getting cut off, but that's not my concern. Uh, I think I got what I need here. And then I'm gonna determine which face to use by doing more of a rough cut. So I'm gonna take my lasso tool here, and then I am going to group this and just on outside of this group, just create a little layer mask just for the head there. Same thing with this one. And I'll see which head I want to use here. That way, when I'm trying to clean up and take away the whiskers and all of that, I'm not just doing that for nothing. Okay, so there's a head there. Now I'll take the body layer, I'm gonna drag it to the back. Here we go. And I'm just gonna increase the size here. I'm not really paying attention too much to the background right now. I just wanna get my face lined up. So let me just drag this folder on top of the body folder. Double lines mean this actually going on top there. And I'm just gonna do a little switching out to see which face I like better. Let me move this as a group. So I've got face number one. Yeah, I'm thinking this one I like better. Has a little more emotion in his face. All right, so I'm gonna go with this one. Now, this is not what we are doing in class on Wednesday, y'all. This is where I actually go through some advanced techniques in Photoshop to show you that AI is not just about creating dope images. It is also like, what can you do with it? Okay, so I'm going to turn off the body layer for right now just so I can focus. I'm using my pen tool here to grab the parts of the face that I want here. I think I'm going to keep his neck for right now and just blend it in because it does have some furriness to it and I may need that. All right, so for now, I'm grabbing everything here. I'm going to apply this layer mask here, but in order to apply it, I have to rasterize this layer. Apply the layer mask. Now those pixels are gone for good. It's not masked anymore. They're gone for good. And then I'm going to create this selection here. And I'm going to Control C to copy, Control V to paste, or I could have just done Control J to make a quick copy of it. And I'll just turn this off for now because maybe I do need something that I deleted and I can go back and reference it. So now that I have the face that I want, I'm going to focus on making it like the same colors because it's a little blue hue here. It's more of a gray, neutral hue. It has a little bit of blue to it, but not nearly as much as this face here. Okay. So I'm going to increase the size of it. Probably rotate the head a little bit. And let me check the comments in my Zoom room, just in case you all had some. Gave you 3 legs. Yep. We did that in AI the other night. We had, well, it was actually 1 leg, and then we had to create that leg and flip it horizontally and give Dad his second leg. All right, so, and I do see a little fur on the neck here, so I think as long as I get the face here cleaned up, I think I'll be good. So I'm gonna go in with my pen tool, and I'm just gonna follow like right around here. I'm gonna give those hairs there a little space. And I know I'm gonna be missing some of my little whiskers here, but I do want to keep them for the most part. All right, so now I'm going to grab this excess outside of here till I want to make that a selection with 1 pixel radius there. And then I'm just deleting those pixels. Okay. Now let's do Control minus to zoom out a little bit here. Control D to deselect. And here, I want to match kind of the skin tone of the existing image on the background. So let's go to our hue saturation. And I want to make sure that I clip this down to just the face so it doesn't change the whole image. I'm going to create a clipping mask. And then I'm going to click on his fur here, and it's telling me that those are cyans. And I'm going to bring the saturation completely down, completely up, completely down. And I think that already is giving me more of the look that I need. But now I can kind of see that he has a little green and a little blue in the skin tones here. So what I'll do is on this one, I'm going to go to the blues. I'm going to crank it all the way up first because I can see that it did have some blues there too. I'll leave it just a little bit of blue. And then I'm going to go to my greens because I'm just visually seeing a little bit green here. And because this doesn't have green in it, I would have to kind of push my colors to have a little green in it. So then what I'm going to do is go create a hue saturation layer on the background. And then this one, I will create a clipping mask. And here I'm going to grab on the fur. It's telling me those are cyans as well. I'm going to bring the cyans all the way down. Same thing here. Take my cyans and bring them all the way down. And now I should be dealing with pretty much black and white. And there is a little bit, there's a little less darkness to the fur here than it is on his face. So here I could choose to do that with the levels. Kind of brighten it up a little bit so it looks more comparable. All right, let me zoom out a little bit, see if this makes sense. And it's making sense. Definitely looking better than the face that it gave me with this image. I can rock with that. And then if I want to bring back the blue in his eyes and the blue in his jersey, I can absolutely do that. I'm just right now, my goal is to get my character situated and in place. I think that's good. So now what I have to do is remove. I'm going to start by trying to remove the whiskers here. And then what you can do is you can actually, I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. Let's just hit generative fill. If I do generative fill, I have to make sure I'm selected on the background here. Usually you can tell if you're just trying to clean up the background there and it'll delete it. If not, then I have to delete and use the context aware feature. Nope, it just gave me more whiskers. So let me go back. It thinks I just want to fix the whiskers when in actuality, I just want to delete them. So let's see. I want to have to be on this layer. I want to do content aware fields. Let me turn off everything else here on this layer. Now, I do believe I have to rasterize it in order to do this. Um, or I can just duplicate this. Then I'll rasterize that one. Just in case. I don't like getting rid of my smart objects until I'm absolutely ready. All right, so now I should be able to do a content aware fill. And see how it's giving me a preview here of it cleaned up. I'm gonna say okay. All right, and then I'm gonna do the same thing here with inside of the jersey because I want it to be clear that I basically just want to clean up these whiskers. And then let me do deselect and then grab this area here. I don't think I was on the right layer. Let me hit cancel. I wasn't. I need to be on this layer when I do that. All right, so it's not really cleaning that up like I want. Not at all. I think I'm just gonna have to manually clean this one up. And really what I wanna do is I just wanna clean it up so that it doesn't look like I have so many duplicate whiskers. So I'm just gonna use the little polygon lasso here. And I'm gonna do a new layer on top of this. I'm just gonna paint on that layer. I'm gonna alt click and grab this color here, and I'm just gonna paint. And I also should have chosen to do like a less harsh kind of edge there, but I'm just giving it a generic painting first, and then if I need to, depending on where the face is, what's still showing, I'll clean that up. Pen tool here. Grabbing this area here. And this one I will do a selection, feather that radius about 1 pixel, add a new layer, and like I said, I'm just gonna do a little bit of painting here. All right. So what I would do is clean that up based on where my new face is gonna go, what's gonna be showing. And looks like I'm gonna have quite a lot to clean up. Like I'm probably going to have to redevelop his whole sleeve right here. And that's gonna take some work. Okay. It is definitely gonna take some work. I'm not really worried about the face over here because I feel like this background is gonna be cut out, so that's not gonna be a concern for me. But I'm definitely going to have to remove the whiskers. And I almost wonder, I'm gonna try this. And then I have my selection on to add. I'm gonna tell it to remove the whiskers and then see what it says. It really doesn't like when you tell it to remove something, but I'm gonna give it a shot. All right. Well, that did good enough for me because it got the jersey to where I don't have to play with it. Let me see what the options are here. This one, or this one. I feel like that's probably my cleanest combination there. Let me roll with it. Okay. I was really dreading doing that, and y'all was going to stay up with me all night to fix this jersey. But since we don't have to do that with the power of AI, we win tonight. All right. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and merge that down. All right. Then that way, when I place my head on top here now, have a little bit of a glow that I can get rid of, but that's nothing. That is nothing. All right. So what I'll do here too is I'm going to link these two just in case I happen to move one. I can also move the other. And now I'm kind of scaling it out a little bit so I can see the whole image. All right. Now let me throw back on my levels, my hue saturation, and I can get rid of these little pieces now. Perfect. All right, now with the image underneath, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the extra little piece of his head that's back here. Get rid of that and turning that off. All right, so it's looking like it's coming together now. I'm excited. All right, and we can add color back where we want to add color, but for right now, I feel like this is at least giving me the composition that I want for this character. The other thing I do want to do is on his jersey, I want to just pretty much make it completely clean, and then I can put what I want on here. I'm just going to tell it to remove text just in case it can understand what I'm saying. Thank you, Yolanda. All right, cool beans, cool beans. Let's see which one. I see the little highlight there. I don't think we have that harsh of highlight anywhere else, so I'm gonna go with number 2, even though I see those little waves in there. I'm not worried about it because we're gonna put something on there. So let's go ahead and just merge that down. Cool, cool. And when I see, I want to move this head a little bit here. I want to make sure that I'm over that space. And now imagine, if you were doing different characters that had claws, like maybe you're doing a wolf or something, and maybe you could use the same body and just change out the heads. Now you are really working with some cool base images that you can change out some of the properties. All right, so next I'm going to bring back his jersey color. And what I'm going to have to do is separate the jersey from the skin tone, which I think how I'm going to do that, let me invert this whole background here. Okay, I'm going to just add, like everything's black now because black conceals, white reveals. So what's being concealed right now is the hue saturation color. What I want to do is I only want to recolor the parts of the fur that have like, well, I don't know, because I kind of like the blue in there. I like the cyan in there. So maybe what I do is allow a little cyan on the face to kind of, because you can see the cyan is kind of reflecting here. So whatever color his jersey is would also change here. So let me do a hue saturation that's only intentioned for changing the cyans. to whatever his uniform color would be. And now you see why I prompted with a cyan jersey or a blue jersey. Let's say I want to make it, let's say red, because red is one of the more difficult colors to get from cyan. You see how now it has a little bit of the red highlights here on his shoulder. Actually looks really good. But I also believe it's got some blues in there. A little bit. I'm gonna turn the blues all the way down. And then let's see what it's got right there. It's got some greens in there. Yeah, I knew it had some green in there. Okay, so those greens, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shift the greens more towards cyan. All right, so now we should be able to pretty much change him. It's giving a little magenta though, so I may need to go back to my cyans and shift a little more towards red, a little more saturation. All right, and if I wanted to get very, very technical with the uniform, I could actually cut the uniform out with the pen tool and just basically overlay a color. And then whatever I pick that color to overlay, it would rework that color. But that's what I would do if I was templatizing my character. That is precisely what I would do. Select all the uniform and then make it to where whenever I change the color to teal or green or red, it would change the uniform and the shoes accordingly. All right, so how I have this right now, technically, I'm kind of doing that with the hue saturation, as long as I only change the cyans. All right, so now what I'm seeing is that the skin tone is changing in the arm as well. So I'm going to just color here. Oh, I got to color white. And what I'm doing, you can see how it's kind of black and white in this area here. I'm taking out the part of the uniform, part of the image that's not the uniform, just because I don't want it to recolor that. It'll make it easier to match the face. So here, if I make this I could probably even make this a black and white layer. Ooh, let's do that. Let me make it a black and white layer. And see, it makes everything black and white. I do Control I to invert it. Now nothing is black and white until I paint it black and white. There we go. And I do like that it has the highlight of the color, but if I really wanted the highlight of the color, I could just bring it back. What I really want is to make sure that my face matches my body. So I'm more focused on that right now. All right, and that's looking like it's matching much, much better. And I did not even add a black and white layer to the face, but I am going to. And then I'm going to delete the layer mask. So now my face looks like it matches the body. Some details I may want to bring back, for instance, I may want to turn on my levels a little bit again because remember his fur on his body was a little bit lighter than the image that I picked with the fur on the face. And then also for the black and white, maybe I don't want to recolor his nose and his eyes. So I could use my mouse, but I'm going to use this pen that I have here. And let's use the brush. And I'm just going to decrease the size of this brush, love you, increase the hardness just a little bit. And I am supposed to be coloring on the black and white layer. So here I'm going to be painting with black, and I'm going to tell it that I do not want the black and white layer to overtake the color of the eyes here. I'm just coloring in those eyes. Also the nose here, I'm sure add a little bit of color to it. Actually, it looked like it didn't have much color to it. Barely anything came in. Okay, maybe inside of the mouth there. See, it has like a little bit of a pink tint. His teeth are a little yellow. So I'm just bringing that back. All right. And then in the skin area around here, around his neck, that should be black and white. So it looks like I need to paint a little white there. She has a little red around here. So I'm just using my pen tool here and coloring. This is a little touchscreen laptop here. But you can also hook up, calm down. You can also hook up your iPad or your Android tablet and use it as a secondary screen for your computer. That way you can use it also as like a drawing tablet. All right. So let me zoom out a little bit here now. See if I brought the color back where I wanted it. Good deal, good deal. Outfits changing there. All right. So now as a whole, I'm going to take everything here and I'm just going to turn it into a smart object. And I'm going to bring back the color on the ball because I do want that to be standard color there. So right there on the ball. I could come in with the quick selection or object selection, but I'm going to do quick selection here on the ball. Oh, it's giving me the whole hand, which means I got to go in there and do it manually. All right, so I am choosing to paint white, nope, black, because I want the color in these areas. So deselect, paintbrush. Let me zoom in a little bit here. And I'm just bringing the color back in those areas. So these are, and I know I'm shaking the camera, y'all, because I'm literally drawing on the screen right now. But these are some of the skills that once you get comfortable doing some of this stuff, I don't know what to do each step of the way. What I'm doing is I'm taking skills that I know I can do and I'm problem solving inside of Photoshop. So literally you are just like um, an engineer, a music engineer or a producing engineer, like you are an engineer in Photoshop and you are creating solutions. This isn't just you following exact instructions. Your mind has to work to where you understand, okay, well, I know I have access to this tool and that tool, but how do I actually make that work? and they're gonna be different answers to it. It's not it's not gonna be, I've come up with 5 different answers to how I was gonna pull this together, and then I just decide on one method and stick with it. If it doesn't work, then I'll go another way. Alright, so this all looks like it's colored where it's supposed to be colored. What I'm gonna do right now is because I'm going to change the, wherever the red is, I'm gonna let it be cyan again. But what I see is there are areas that I'm probably gonna add some cyan just so that it cleanly all colors together. So right here around his knee, I can see that red came in again. So I'm going to turn it to white. Make sure my black and white layer is capturing that piece right there on around his knee there. I want it to stay clean from color. It's good. And then the shoes, wherever the red is, will be the cyan color. That will be fine. I'm gonna turn this off for a moment just to see what it looks like. That looks good. Hue saturation, I'm turning that off. And then what I'm going to do is on this layer here, I'm gonna add a fresh new layer. I'm gonna grab this cyan color from here. So if I hold down on Alt while I'm on my brush tool, if I hold down Alt, it turns into a color picker. I'm gonna pick that cyan color, and I am literally, I'm gonna go to the color blend mode. Because it has like kind of an orange down there, I'm going to make it cyan so that when I change my my image here, the image color, there's no confusion on what should be changed. Okay, so you see me just coloring it there. And then my brush is a little bit big because I'm being lazy. Let me bring the size of the brush down just a little bit. And I'm coloring all of that with this cyan color. So there's no confusion on what color that should shift to when I get there. See down here, it's got that green down here. I'm just fixing the main part of the image. And you see wherever it's dark, it's still dark. It's just turning into more of that cyan color that I want it to be. This is all in the prep work, all in the prep work. And the more cyan I make it, the more likely it is to change colors when I want it to be a different color. So I'm kind of pushing it a little bit, but I'm hoping it gives me a better end result. Um, I'm going back here to see if that is true. Did it change underneath that? Yeah, I got that red in there now, because before, remember, it was looking a little janky. Okay. All right, all right. Color in maybe a little. Uh-oh. Got too loose with it over there. Got too loose. I'm going to increase the size a little bit. And I'm bringing more of the cyan in the jersey here so I can get more red right there. I felt like that highlight was a little too harsh to be under his body, but hey. All right. So I think I have my recoloring how I want it, have my face where I want it. Um, now I'm gonna cut out the background. Although this is a really nice background, I like it. Let me bring it back here. Oh yeah, and I was also going to put the numbers on his jersey. So let me go ahead and save this. Oh, I got to bring back the cyan now. So I'm going to turn off this hue saturation now. Perfect. And if I want to redevelop the area around his head, now would probably be a pretty good time to do that. Let me turn that off, turn this back on. I want to see if it fills it in with just the background there, or tries to make him a face. We shall see. Good night, Pam. All right. Perfect. All right, so it filled that in for me there. I feel like it's good enough to just merge on down. Let me turn the face off. You put something there, but I'm fine with that because any head that I put there is going to cover that up. Let me see if I turn the head off, any of these go any better. All right, so that one gets out the way the most, and I'm just gonna go ahead and merge that down. All right. These two are still linked together. All right, and now I'm going to, on this one, I'm going to cut out my foreground. So I'm gonna go Object Selection Tool. So my mascot, I'm gonna cut them out. Drop down, go to Cloud. Select Subject here. All right, and I think I have enough of this where I can just see what it looks like cleanly, and I think that looks really good. Perfect. Now, whenever I want to recolor this, all I have to do is just go to my hue saturation, and I'm going to tell it that I want the cyans, and I'm only going to move the cyans, and look, even the colors in his eyes will change. Okay, so I want it to be a purple, magenta, a red, green, orange, etc. I should be able to do that now. All right. And I'll give y'all this if y'all want this inside of the template, because basically I'm going to make this my theme for the One Team, One Dream. Okay. And because this says bulldogs, I'm not going to do it tonight because I'm tired, y'all. I might switch this face out with the bulldog face. Let me see before I say, because look, anytime I say something on camera, y'all be holding me to it. So Yolanda, the Nike symbols, if it's wearing it, I think that it is, you can take those out, but technically, even if players are wearing a Nike jersey, they're allowed to wear the Nike jersey. So that's not the main thing. The point is when you try to make something look like it's from Nike, that's where the confusion lies. So I think that's where the big issue is with using that. But I like my characters and stuff have some of them have Nike checks on their jerseys because majority of the kids when they are taking their photos they have Nikes or either Nike, Under Armour, or I forget the other one that they do, Adidas as well. So I'm not concerned about that. If you're concerned about it, you can remove it just like I removed the text on there. Okay. I'm going to look up a bulldog. Let's see if I have one that has a nice, realistic, furry face. Let's see if it's worth changing it out. That one's cute, but it's too cute. See, this one's kind of furry, but I forgot the bulldog's gonna have more of like a stout body. So maybe a bulldog wouldn't be a good one for that one. But I could essentially take the head from this one. I'll show you better than I can tell you. But then I would have to change the fur color and the lightness of it as well. So, like I said, that is definitely not what I'm doing tonight, but I wanted to give you some ideas of how this stuff could be used. What I will do also while I'm here, I am going to go ahead and create like a jersey number and team name on here. So let's put Panthers. And the number was 23. And let's just make this white. And right now it's on the teal color. That's why it is changing colors. Actually, I like that it did change colors like that. So let's put a stroke of teal on here. So let me group this group and let's put a stroke on here to the outside. We can actually add 2 strokes. Then the inside of the color, let's do a color overlay, would be white. The first stroke would be the teal color. And then the outside, I can't remember what it had it. I was trying to remember what it had before, but I can't remember. So I'm just making it up. Okay. And then if that's the case, if it is underneath this, then it should also change with the color, hue saturation. So I'm going to call this right now the team name and number. And then I'm going to turn this into a smart object. Yolanda, I ain't gonna hurt him. I might hurt myself if I keep staying up all night. But listen, I got into this, and now I have to follow through. I got to show y'all what I would do here. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this one alone. That's gonna be like the one that I mess with, the one that I don't mess with. I'm gonna duplicate this layer. Now I'm gonna turn the eyeball off for the one that I'm not going to mess with. And then the one that I am going to mess with, I'm basically going to warp it in a position where it looks like it's on the shirt. Now, because this is a smart object, as long as I keep it a smart object, if I change the core one, it's going to change the other one as well. So first, let me go ahead and just scale this down a little bit to look like about the size it would look like on his shirt. Next thing I'm going to do is kind of rotate it a little so it looks like it is square with his shoulders. And then I'm zooming in just a little. So I'm going to hold down Control plus plus, get in there. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose what warping technique I want to use. And I'm choosing the wrong thing here. My auto select turned on. And I'm going to bring the scale down just a little bit more. All right. And here, let's go to transform. I'm going to do a distort first. Just because that is the easiest one to do. And I'm just kind of gauging where the uniform is falling. Like, is this perspective kind of pinching down a little bit? This is not perfect, y'all. I'm just showing you the easiest way to do this without having to be perfect. Now, if I really really want to get fancy with it, I'm going to, on this layer, create a layer mask, and I'm going to find where his knee is, bring the opacity down, and make his knee go over the number there. So whatever number is there, his knee will go over that. So I'll use my pen tool here, kind of grab his knee there, do a selection from there, pixel 1 here, and then I'll take my paintbrush and I'm going to color that in with black. Control D to deselect, and now whatever number or name I put here, that knee is going to be in front of it. Okay, let's go ahead and pull our opacity back up, and maybe not even to 100, maybe like 92 or something. That is the easiest way. Now, I do puppet warp, I do perspective warp, all kind of other warps, but that is the easiest one for anybody to play with and kind of make it look like something is on top of something, okay? So now when I go into this one, I'll bring that to the top there, okay? When I go into this one, I can change it from Panthers. Maybe I'll duplicate this one, turn off the Panthers, and then I'll call this one Bulldogs. And if it's too long, you squish it in. If it's too short, you can increase the size of it, but that is that. Okay, so now it says Bulldogs 23 instead of Panthers. You watch. So if I was changing out the face to a bulldog and I wanted to also change the name on the jersey, now that fits. All right, so I'm saving that as is. Oh, I have not saved this the entire time, y'all. I'm tripping. I'm still working on an untitled document. Boy, boy, boy. All right, so let me just go ahead and make sure that I save this. All right, so this is our Panther Photoshop AI after hours. All right, so this was our little after party that we had to make sure that we can learn to manipulate our AI artwork in Photoshop. And like I said, I may play with switching this out to a bulldog's face, but just in case I don't, look, I ain't promising nothing. It's gonna say Panthers, and y'all got a whole panther that didn't exist before. Felicia, you need a lady panther. All right. Well, we're gonna see if I think that you develop some images that look pretty good. I'm just showing you where, like, if you like one thing, how you can bring in multiple components of different images and pull them together. That's what Photoshop is designed for. Okay. Now this will be different for everybody's project because you're gonna be playing with some really different components. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I'm changing my master, and I'm only supposed to be changing the cyans. That way, that's why it was changing the color of the basketball here. Levi, what color do you want his jersey to be?
Yellow.
Yellow? Okay. So yellow, if I was going with like a yellow, like a golden yellow, or like, ooh, actually, like that Vegas gold looks kind of cool. Okay, I can see that.
Green,
Now, if I wanted green and yellow, then what I would do? So you getting fancy, and we said we was gonna let them go to sleep.
Well,
So if I wanted, okay, I could duplicate this layer, and I could change the cyans of one differently. So let's say I wanted like a Lakers purple and gold, right?
Mhm.
Then I can make part of it purple. Let's bring it more towards the magenta. There's purple. You add a little more saturation here. Let's go down on saturation. Let's add a little more darkness there. All right, so that's purple. And let's say there were certain parts that we wanted to do yellow. I'm not going to do exactly that, but what we could do is paint on here what we wanted to be purple and what we wanted to be yellow. So let's say we wanted the top to be yellow and the bottom to be purple. What we would do is take this part and we would say, no, 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 don't color the top at all. So we're going to keep that cyan. And I'm doing this very loosely right now, y'all. Just so y'all know. And it kind of looks cool, like some of it. Let's try that. Okay. Then I would do is take that same one, and let's say I wanted the opposite to be done on this one. I'm going to alt click and drag it down here on the yellow version or the gold version we made. Turn that on. You can't really see it right now because we have to invert it. So I do Control I to invert it, and wherever it was purple before, now it's gold. So you can choose to do that. I like to change things globally. Why? Because it's easier. Why? Because people aren't paying attention like that. And literally, you have a mascot that you can change the colors of like this. It's just going to make it simpler for you. So what I'm going to do here is with this graphic, we'll have some players in here, and then we'll put the mascot in here. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let me disable that layer mask, and we pick purple. And then if I don't like what it did to the eyes, I can color the eyes separately. So I do want you to know that you have that option too. So if I want to put in a solid color for the eyes, and let's say I do want the eyes to be teal, then I can go ahead and take this, create a layer mask for it, put the blend mode on color, and then invert this one. All right, and then I can just color where I want the eyes to be. I got to color with white though to bring it out. Boom, boom. And now my blend mode instead of normal needs to be on color, and it will color his eyes. I did it real rough, y'all, but I was supposed to be on this layer mask. Okay, then I can clean that up, but you can see, and now I can make his eyes whatever color I want them to be. I can make them purple. I can make them yellow or gold or whatever. I think gold actually would be a good color to make his eyes. Okay. Boom. Then you can recolor whatever part of this image you want to on your time. Okay, and have fun with that. What am I doing here? How do I change my ball? I didn't want to change my ball. I must have changed my global colors. Yep, I changed my master colors and not. So if you ever want to reset, you can just reset here. And then I changed my master colors. I meant to only change my cyans. So I was moving too fast. And then I'm going to get rid of this layer mask because I don't need it. Here we go. All right. So let's say this is our character here. This is my after hours. So I'm going to give y'all this to play with. So you will have all these layers. If you want to change out the head and all of that stuff, you will have it. So I'm saving that. And then what I'll do is I would bring it into this image here. All right, file, place embedded, place my little panther here. Boom. So I will have this in this template, y'all. I will actually make this a template that can be an all over or a 13 by 19. You would go in and place your characters or your mascot character and your team members in there. Now, we're not cutting out all of these people. So you're going to have your images already cut out, and we're not placing all of these people. We'll show you how to place a couple of them, but your homework, if you really wanted to do a whole team, you're going to have to do that on your dream, okay? It's going to be your dream and your team. But we'll show you how to change out a couple of the players. The idea here is you're going to learn how, even if there are no team members at all here, and let me hide my team members here. This is an old file, so I have to do a lot of cleaning up to make this work, y'all. But y'all said y'all wanted this file, and you'll even see when I did this, those images came to me all kind of different colors. Like some of them looked like they were purple, some of them looked like they were blue. So I had to go in and change the levels and the colors of different jerseys that came to me because some of them were snapped on somebody's iPhone 10. Some of them were snapped with a 35 millimeter development CVS camera. I don't know what they were done with. Some of them came out of clippings from newspapers and Facebook screenshots. Y'all know the same thing I talk to y'all about now, not accepting. That's what I was accepting back then. Okay. So when I tell you, I'm definitely showing you better than I can tell you, but I'll tell you too. So I'm just going ahead and closing these out, but you can see how much work I had to do on each of those images. Try not to get rid of my, mm, 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 mm. Oh, my babies. Yeah, this was some time ago. My Lord. These babies done grown up and graduated college and all. All right. So I'm gonna have a few more of these just so you can see you don't have to have players in here. You can do just the mascot if you want. Matter of fact, it'll make class go by quicker. I'm sure Coach Chrissy would love you just to do the mascot. All right. And shutting that off. Yeah. And this was a really, really nice picture of Herman. I remember these projects. Oh my gosh. All right. So now let's pull in. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm kind of interested now. I want to see what it's going to look like. Let's pull in one of our backgrounds. I want to see now that I have AI, because that was a design I did so long back in the day, back in the day. I want to use some of our AI instead of like stock art or backgrounds and that sort of thing that I was using before. I do. I really like this one. I'm gonna grab this one. Okay. All right. All right. So let's go ahead where this is like it has like a wallpaper already in here. We're gonna replace this wallpaper. You get by without knocking my stuff over? Okay. So I'm gonna select the current layer here and let me save this image as. So we'll go from a galaxy to the whole, what is this? Lightning thing. So I'm gonna put go lightning. Okay, cool, cool. And then what I'll do is we'll do file place embedded. That thing looks electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, late. My bad, y'all know when it gets late, I get goofy.
Your brain has left.
It ain't gone quite yet, but it's tapping out. All right, so and the reason why I put the white glow there was because we had so many different players and so much going on that you need that kind of separation. But now that we don't have the players, if we just have the mascot, then we can kind of play with this whole theme here. And I think this looks really cool. And then, like, when it's not a real basketball goal, because y'all, that was not a real basketball goal. Like, it's missing some details and stuff, you know? But like I said, when you use it in this capacity, like, it's not the literal sense of what you think it's supposed to be. And I'm gonna squish it down just a little bit because that goal was real, real long. That perspective, I think, was what was causing that. But you see the net, you see the goal, you see the lightning here. Really, really cool. Same idea here. Now we can take a hue saturation layer. This you will do in class. So you'll take hue saturation, and then here, because we developed them with cyans and blues, then we can go to our cyan And we can change the color here so we can make it more purple. You can even make it like a contrast color. It doesn't have to be the color. It could be the yellow or whatever you want it to be. All right, so I'm going to pull it more to the purple. And then you also may need to change your blues because it probably has blues in it too. So you can crank it all the way up and down. See how the blues turn gray when I bring the saturation all the way down? That means that you do have blues in here that you can shift the color of as well and change the image color. I think I'm just going to bring the saturation down, bring it more gray. And bam, y'all. Now let's say, but there's more. Wait, there's more. Okay, so this is one thing you will do in class to one image. Okay, and once you learn how to do it for one image, you saw all the different characters. Some of their body was behind a letter, some of their body was in front of a letter. And I did that for almost all of the characters. I'm going to show you how to do this with one character. So I'm going to take our panther. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it in front of the word dream. So I'm going to alt, click and drag. Oh, I have to take the whole group though, because I want it to stay. So I'm going to call this my mascot, recolored. Okay, because I want to keep him whatever color we made him. I want to keep him that way. And as a matter of fact, it probably is easier just to go ahead and create a smart object from this. Let's go ahead and do that. Convert it to a smart object. That way it's just one old image. You don't, I moved it out of the folder and now I don't know where the folder is. No worries. Now we can alt click and drag that above the word dream. Okay. And then we're going to link them. 1 and 2, we're going to link. And I'll show y'all how to do this in the video for Wednesday class. Because like I said, I have not cleaned this up into a template quite yet. All right. And then what I can do here is figure out what's going to be hiding behind the word dream, what's going to be in front of the word dream. So here, I have this layer here, and I'm going to control click on the word dream. Now you see my pixels active in front of here. Whatever I color on here, and then I'm just going to do a blank layer mask. The way I get to a blank layer mask when I have a selection already there is I have to go to layer, layer mask, and then I have to do reveal all. Okay. And it's going to reveal all here. Actually, did I go to hide all? I think I did. So now that I have hide all on, I need to do control I. Okay, so it's giving me, oh, it did my selection anyway. So let me go back. Let me deselect, and I'm going to take this off completely because I don't want to show you a more advanced mode. I want to show you a simple way to do it. So let's delete the layer mask. Okay, we're just going to add a fresh white layer mask on there. Then I will grab my word dream. So I just held down control, selected the text there, and then I can grab my paintbrush here on the white layer. And then I'm going to add black. And let's say I want to hide the hind leg there. And I want to make it look like the forward leg is in front of the word dream. If that's what you wanted. Okay. Now the issue here is maybe the hand right there, right? So I'm going to go, I want that hand not to be through there. I want the hand to look like it's behind as well. And I need to bring that size down for that brush because I'm being real lazy trying to cover ground. And I'll be mad when I cut off something I want. Even the tail here. So if I want the tail to look like it's coming through here, but then it's not going in front of the A, I can change that. But I think the tail is like right behind his leg. So I think the tail is fine. And then the basketball being in front, I think that's fine. So let me do Control D to deselect so we can see what it really looks like. And now looks like it's coming at you. Cleopatra coming at you. Y'all remember that show? Probably not. I'm surprised y'all still hanging out with me. Listen, y'all about to be as goofy as me right now. I think we did a lot. I'm going to clean this file up, make sure it is templatized for my babies, for my Photoshop loves. And then that way, when you all come to class on Wednesday, you will know how to do this for the mascot. If you want to do this for the individual players, you can. But you could also do the individual players. I have a version of it where I just kind of put them around it without kind of doing too much cutting out. But the idea here is that you're going to be able to flip these like left and right. Okay. And the more you practice with them, the more you'll be able to flip, and the faster you'll be able to flip. Okay. Yes, thank you, Shauna. I appreciate that, love. I am glad y'all stayed up and y'all enjoyed this activity. Thank you, Teresa. So you all will have this version in class. Like I said, I'm going to see if I can. Now I'm saying it on camera. I might have to do it. I'm going to see if I can change out, make it to where we can change out the head and even the fur tone. I guess not skin tone, the fur tone, so that maybe it can be other characters as well. Not all of the characters, but if I can make it change to 3 or 4 characters, I'm sure that will make y'all happy, and it'll give you some practice in bringing in your own character heads and changing the skin tone to what you may need it to be. Okay. Thank you, Shauna. Well, we are going to call this a night and wrap this up. Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate it, my love. I hope you all had some fun with us tonight, and I cannot wait to see what you do with your one team, one dream, pulling it out the vault template. Thank you, my loves. We appreciate you. We love you dearly. And until next time, bye. Peace, y'all.
The recording has stopped.